Hello and welcome to Amigos IAS. I am Adnan. Today, the Supreme Court has delivered a very historic verdict by declaring electoral bonds as unconstitutional and as violative of Article 19, Clause 1, Subclause A, which is freedom of speech and expression. And this particular verdict has a lot of ramifications. So let's try to decode this verdict, and I will give you my first observations on this verdict, what was considered in this case, and what kind of test Supreme Court applied while giving this verdict. If you want to know the details about what electoral bonds are and what changes the government has brought in various acts to implement electoral bonds, I have already done a video on this. The details, the link is mentioned in the description. Please do find the detailed explanation on what is electoral bonds, because in this session I am going to cover what Supreme Court verdict is regarding the electoral bonds. So as we know, these bonds were brought by the government in 2017 and 18 to bring transparency in the electoral financing of political parties. But since its inception, these have been questioned that they are actually not promoting transparency, rather they are actually promoting opacity. That means we are not able to know the source of funding for political parties. And the Supreme Court 5-judge bench already reserved the verdict in November 2023, and the judgment has come today. So let's just dive into this particular verdict of the Supreme Court. I will just tell you in the beginning what the court has mentioned. So first one, the issuance of electoral bonds should be stopped immediately now. And second one, because the SBI is the bank which is authorized to give these bonds, the SBI shall submit the details of the bonds purchased since the interim order of the government. That means what here? 12th April 2019 was the interim order of the court. From that date, whatever the bonds you have given to these particular donors, okay, the people who purchased these bonds, all the details from this 12th April 2019 till now, it has to be submitted, okay, to the court. And you can see here the details include the date of purchase of bond, name of the purchase, denomination of the electoral bond purchased, okay, and how much money was sent. For example, let's say 1,000 rupees or 10,000, 1 lakh, crores, 10 crores, etc. Denomination has to be mentioned. And SBI shall submit this information to the Election Commission of India within 3 weeks from the today, the judgment day, guys, okay. And that means 3 weeks means it is going to be 6th March 2024. And Election Commission then will publish its information, which is given by the SBI on its official website. Means we all can watch Election Commission website to know what details SBI has given regarding the electoral bonds. Okay, that is an important news, guys. So by 13th March, all of us can know, if this order is followed, of course, we all can know who has given how much money in what denomination, okay, since 2019, 12th April. And third point, electoral bonds, because they are issued even now also, which has validity of 15 days. Means, for example, if I take electoral bond and if I have to give it to a political party, the political party will get 15 days to encash that amount of money in the bank which they have informed to the Election Commission and which is under the RBI. Okay, and if let's say some of these bonds have not been encashed, Supreme Court has told return that money. Okay, see here, the money which has not been encashed by the parties should be returned by the party to the purchaser depending on who is in possession of the bond to the issuing bank. That means whatever the money is there with the political parties, okay, you can give it back, and this money shall be refunded to the account of the purchaser also. Fine. Okay, Justice Khanna has said that he agreed with the conclusions with the CGI. He told that he also arrived at a similar conclusion after arriving the principle of proportionality that we will just discuss now. Okay, what is this proportionality test? So first things first, before I go to this proportionality test, what options were there before the Supreme Court when it was trying to consider this case? Which means what, guys? That means what were the issues before this 5-judge constitution bench, and did they find any kind of problems with the electoral bonds by applying the test of proportionality which was developed in Puttaswamy versus Union of India case, where Supreme Court has ruled that right to privacy is a fundamental right. That means test of proportionality. That is what we have to discuss. But before that, let's go to the main aspect here, guys. What were the issues before the courts? First one, whether electoral bond scheme is violating the fundamental right to information under Article 19 clause subclause A, which means, right, Article 19 clause 1 subclause A talks about freedom of speech and expression, which includes right to know. I can use my speech only if I know something, right? So right to information also has been held as fundamental right basing on this interpretation. Second one, the court has said that, okay, same point, since information of the funding of political parties is important for us to know whom to vote, okay, the electoral bond schemes may violate the right to information because the person who is giving this money by electoral bonds, their name is not mentioned on the bond. It is completely anonymous in character. So we will not know who is donating the money to the political parties. Second one, whether unlimited corporate funding violates free and fair elections, because government has changed the Finance Act, Companies Act also. In the past, 7.5% of your profits in the last 3 years, you cannot give more than that amount of money to any political party. But that cap has been removed. That means what? Even loss-making companies, even shell companies, okay, illegally, can donate as much money as they want to the government. Okay, that is a big problem here. So there is no cap on the amount of money any company can send, which is not proportional. Okay, third one, as you can see, okay, these two are the issues. And next one, you can see whether electoral bond scheme, what is the purpose behind it? What is the objective you're trying to achieve with this particular electoral bonds? That means here the important thing is, when we go to this triple test, here we have to understand why government brought this scheme. Is this scheme going to violate your fundamental right or not? So let us see what are those aspects, guys. 3 aspects as mentioned in Puttaswamy case, test of proportionality we have to apply here. What is the first one here? If you want to bring any kind of scheme or any law, okay, any kind of initiative or any kind of executive measure, you need to see first whether there is an existing law to implement that aspect. That means existence of a law is important to ensure that you can bring some new initiative. So already what the parliament has done here, it has brought, okay, changes via the Finance Act here. So first one, as you can see here, electoral bond was, it brought changes by Finance Act by the parliament. It amended the Companies Act, IT Act, Foreign Contribution Regulation Act. That means existence of a law was there, but the law was amended by the parliament to bring that change of electoral bonds. That means there should be a law to implement this measure. So government has made some amendments for that, okay, parliament. Second one, the law should demonstrate a legitimate state interest. That means what? There should be some kind of connection, a rational nexus between the object and the achievement, the objective as well as the subject what you're trying to bring. That means what here you can see, law should demonstrate a legitimate state interest with a nexus to the object. That means the interest is what? To curb the black money. For that, what you are trying to bring? Electoral bonds. Is it really fair? How far it is truthful? Okay, the government argued that the objectives are like curbing black money and to protect the privacy of donors, because sometimes they can be targeted if it is known outside that which donor is donating what money to political parties. If other political parties know this, they may target the donors. This is the points what the government has mentioned. This is the objective which you want to achieve for bringing the electoral bonds. That means a connection has to be there, a rational nexus has to be there between the object, okay, and the scope, whatever you are applying there. Okay, third one is what? Third and the most crucial is whether the encroachment of fundamental right. Means what? By making this as anonymous, you are violating fundamental right to know, 19 clause 1 subclause A. So how much proportion it is? Is it right or not? See here, guys. The CGA has told state has not used the least restrictive method. Means what? If I say that till 20,000 rupees anonymous donations are allowed, I can understand that, okay, this is in proportion to restriction on fundamental rights. Means my fundamental right to know, okay, is impacted because I am not knowing who gave money to the political parties. Okay, so here, let me just clearly state this point. If I say that your fundamental right to know, 19 clause 1 subclause A, is going to be restricted because 20,000 rupees till this amount if somebody gives to political party, it will not be disclosed to us. Still, maybe it is okay, it's fine. But what if I say electoral bonds, I give blanket exemption and say, no matter how much amount of money you donate to political parties, anonymity will be given to those donors. Now, this is not proportionate. My right to know, freedom of speech is impacted because you are saying electoral bonds electoral bonds are completely anonymous no matter how much amount you donate to the political parties. It is not in proportion here. That means the test of proportionality has been violated in this case, which is what the court also has ruled in this case, guys. Okay, so the court ruled that the amendments to the IT Act and Section 29C of the RP Act, where you cannot donate, where you cannot tell how much amount you're donating, that is completely violative of the fundamental rights, and court told stop selling of the electoral bonds, so forth, and give details since 2019 April till now to SBI. Okay, SBI should give to ACI, ACI should put in the website, and we all can access by March 2024, guys. So this is a very significant verdict by the Supreme Court, and this will have some important ramifications. And as I repeat again, the details of what are electoral bonds are mentioned in the link. Okay, you can just observe the description here, guys. If you have any questions regarding this verdict, please feel free to ask. I'll be happy to clarify. So thanks for watching Amigos IAS. I'll come back with another explainer. Thank you.